Yeah, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, January 17th Finance Committee meeting. So the first item on the agenda is selection of a Finance Committee chairman. Would open up for nominations.
I nominate, Your Honor, I nominate Carla Borders as the chairman of the Finance Committee.
Okay.
Do I have to second my
You have
own
to second it.
nomination? Okay, I second it.
Okay, any other nominations?
Call.
Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All opposed? Okay, passes. Congratulations.
why,
Want me to
thank you.
finish, or would you like to take?
Would you please?
Okay.
For some reason, I did not get a copy of the agenda.
No problem.
If you would do it, I would
All right.
appreciate it.
So the second line, or the third item on the, is the consideration of claims. Could I have a motion, please?
Your Honor, I make a motion that we pay the amount of $342,697.79 of claims. Elon credit card in the amount of $1,924.99, and payroll and liabilities to include December 30th in the sum amount of $370,611.36 for a total of $715,234.14.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I would abstain from the Bailey Enterprises line items on the Finance Committee report. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Do we have any other items to come before the Finance Committee?
Your Honor, just for the record, I did want to mention that claim number 37440 for 71 Construction contains the final retainage for the Sunset Drive Improvement Project, and that will be mailed January 7th after the final advertising period has expired.
Okay. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Call the meeting adjourned at 6:50.
That's not a very loud sound. All right, I call the January 17th, 2023 regular meeting of the Riverton City Council to order at 7 p.m. Councilmember Peranteaux, if you could lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Councilmember Borders could give us the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet tonight. We ask your guidance as we work together in our efforts to do what is best for our city. Strengthen us as we make tough decisions that are right for our citizens. We ask that you watch over our police and first responders who protect and serve every day. Thank you for the many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I got behind my chair all.
All right, would the city clerk please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilman Lindsay Cox.
Here.
Councilman Mike Bailey.
Here.
Councilman Dean Peranteaux.
Here.
Councilman Kyle Larson.
Here.
Mayor Tim Hancock.
I am here. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Councilwoman Christy Salisbury from tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Motion by Councilman Larson, second by Councilwoman Cox. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Need to do better at remembering to do that. Motion passes. I declare we have a quorum. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. We'll now conduct the oath of office for our new council member. Pronto, let's go down here. All right. Oh, I have a copy. It's not a very loud audience. All right. If you raise your right hand, I state your name.
I, Dean Peranteaux,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
and the Constitution of the State of Wyoming,
that I have not knowingly violated any law
that I have not knowingly violated any law
related to my election
related to my election
or caused it to be done by others,
or caused it to be done by others.
and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Sounds good. Thank you very much. Dean, you have to sign.
Mean it. All right, shaking
All right, this is yours.
Oh, thank you. This is yours.
Thank you.
And so is it. Thank you. Brian, thank you. You're welcome. Sir? Again, thank you.
Whoops.
Kyle, thank
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
All right. Communication from the floor. Anyone in the audience that wants to address the council regarding an item that's on the agenda that's scheduled for a public hearing, you can speak during that public hearing. If you have anything else that you want to speak with the council about, This would be your time to go ahead and come on up, approach the podium. Please identify yourself for our television audience, and you can tell us what you want to tell us. So, time is yours.
Hi, my name is Jackson Hill,
I'm Danny Santee.
and as the president of the Riverton FFA chapter, I'm here on behalf of our chapter to ask you guys if we can hang flags the 2 weeks between February 14th and February 24th. The first week is the week leading up to our big alumni fundraiser, and then the following week, the week of the 24th, is National FFA Week.
So every year, our alumni hosts a fundraiser, and we have a baked potato bar. We have a silent auction, which our members make or donate items for, and then we have bingo all night. It's really fun. So
And if you do come to our fundraiser, you get to listen to my beautiful voice for 3 hours calling bingo numbers. So you guys should come.
Are you going to sing too, or?
Per your request, I can sing. It might not be very good though.
Okay, sounds good, Jackson. You said February 14th through the 24th?
The 13th through the 24th. So I believe that, I have no idea what day of the week that is, but the 13th through the 24th.
Okay. Well, thank you. Appreciate it, Jackson. And Danny?
Your Honor,
Yeah.
I just wondered, do you need help with donations? If someone wanted to do that, could they?
Donations of what?
Of food or
Oh, for sure, yeah.
items for your auction?
I know FFA members bring in a lot of the food, but there's a silent auction as well where you can donate items.
So does a person just get a hold of you, or?
I think the person to get a hold of is our advisor, Miss Lagarda. I have her phone number if you'd like me to grab it for you.
That would
our
be great.
advisor or some of our alumni people. Tanya Santee's with us, so she's one of the people on our alumni. There's also Courtney Hill, and I don't really know the rest of our alumni. I forget.
Okay.
There's a lot of them. Okay, are you ready for the number? Mm-hmm. 307-851-2420.
And what was her name?
Maggie Lagarda.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And when is your fundraising event?
It is February 18th. Danny knows more about it than I do.
All right, Danny, go ahead. February 18th, what time?
I don't know what time it starts. I just know it's the 18th.
It's like 6.
It looks like 6, yeah. 6 p.m. And where's it going to be held?
It's at which building is it? The Armory at the fairgrounds.
Over at the fairgrounds? And just anybody's invited? Is there a dress code or?
Not really. Clothes.
Clothes.
No, we sell tickets for it. So
Good, good. So if we wanted to buy tickets, how would we do that?
you can, you buy them from our FFA members, so most people go around and sell them. You can contact the different alumni people too, and our advisor.
So Maggie might help with that too. All right, so February 18th, 6 p.m. at the Armory. You have to wear clothes to come. If you want to be donating something ahead of time, you can get a hold of Maggie Lagarda, and you're wanting to be able to put up flags. Anybody have any problem with them putting up flags on Main Street? There's not a holiday or anything that we normally have an avenue of flags are in between that, is there?
No.
Okay. I think everybody loves the idea, so you got permission.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate you coming in.
Of course.
I'm assuming that you're related to this Tanya Santee. All right, anybody else?
I'm a little bit confused whether you want the Riverton Senior Citizen Center now or later.
Well, I don't think we have, do we, we don't have them on the agenda, so how about you come on up now if we don't have you on the agenda? This is a good time.
I'm Frank Tanner. I'm the president of the Board of Directors of the Riverton Senior Center.
And I'm Lori Weber, and I'm the director at the Riverton Senior Center.
I'd like, if I may, I'd like to start by thanking the city for plowing the 2 streets at the center. Made all the difference in the world. We can now escape, okay? We had a terrible time for a little while. I believe you all had in your packet a proposal that we prepared asking the council to support a proposal that we are going to make to the county commissioners to develop or pass into law or whatever you have to do, a senior citizen service district. That district would enable the senior center to raise up to 2 mills in property tax in support of the senior services, okay? At the present time, there are other counties in the state that have this, and the little town of Shoshone, Wyoming actually has it, okay? We're coming out of a rather horrible period of time with what COVID did to the senior centers. And I know every nonprofit in the world is looking for money everywhere there is to look for it. So I prepared and passed out a sheet that shows you what some of the costs are if older people are confined to nursing homes or need assisted living or whatever. In our own case, this nursing home, it costs $261 a day for a semi-private room. Okay, if we can provide the services that people need to stay in their home, and we do provide those services. We serve home-delivered meals every day, and at the bottom of that sheet, you can find that information. We provide transportation services. We provide recreation and social activities. There are always people at the center, okay? So I first got involved in this in the senior program back in 1971 when I was a graduate student at the University of Wyoming. At that time, we did a study on aging in Wyoming, and we found that it's much cheaper if you have places like the senior centers, and all 23 counties do have them. It's cheaper to provide those services and keep people in their own homes as long as you possibly can, rather than having to pay for nursing home, assisted living, or whatever. Because you look at the price of a single year in a nursing home, okay, like right here in Riverton, costs you approximately $95,000, okay? How many people can we provide with meals or transportation or socialization that lets them stay in their home for $95,000? So what we would like you to do is think about it, okay? Because we're going to the county commissioners and ask them to authorize the inclusion in the next general election of a provision to create a senior citizen service district, okay? Now, if they won't do it, then we have to go through the process of getting everybody that we have sign a petition. And that wouldn't be too hard in this community, because I estimate that there are at least a minimum of 3,000 people in this community who are eligible for our services. Okay? Last year, we provided services to slightly over 1,300 of those people. Okay? So we provide service to a lot of people. But what with inflation and everything, cutbacks, we need some help, okay? So think about it, and hopefully you'll see fit to say, okay, we'll give you a letter of support to take to the county, okay?
Thank you, Frank. Hey, if you can hold up just a second, I think we have some questions. Councilman
You
Larson.
say 2 mills.
Right.
How much is that gonna be?
I honestly can't tell you because I don't know what the tax value. We have to identify the service area, okay? Now, Shoshone ran into problems because they didn't refuse, they just didn't do it. I guess they didn't know they did. So it was on the ballot the last time. And what they did was say, our boundaries for this service district will be the boundaries of the Shoshone Cemetery District, okay? We met with Lander, and the Lander people are doing this too, okay? And we basically decided that the easiest thing for us to do would be to say our service district is School District 25, because that's a clearly defined district area, okay? Now, when this program first started, the senior center in Riverton was responsible for the entire northeast quadrant, okay? Including Shoshone, Pavilion, Kinnear, whatever else is out that way, Manita. They were all supposedly served by this center. But that was the clearest area I could come up with because we have to have that area, the definition. And if you've ever looked at a map of the School District 25, it kind of wanders around. But that's what we'd like to do, okay?
Councilman Larson? That was your question?
Yep, I think Frank answered my question, because one of the notes that you'd sent out said it was going to be the boundaries of the city of Riverton. But then I think the school district's a lot better idea. That probably encompasses your service area a lot better.
Right, it does, because we have a lot of people who come here. We actually provide meals to Pavilion, okay? And we'd certainly appreciate your help if we knew that you were making it a lot easier for us, okay?
Your Honor,
Borders?
Mr. Tanner, I have a question. What is your time frame before you go to the commissioners?
Well, we would like to go as quickly as possible, okay? Because if the county says you have to get the petition, rather than, because they can do it themselves, but if we have to get a petition and have 3,000 signatures on it, that's going to take a while, okay?
Thank you.
And it also depends on when Lander meets.
Lori, can you come over to the mic?
That's why I'm letting him talk. It also depends on when Lander is ready to go. We're the first ones to come in and approach you, and then the Lander Senior Director wants to know how this goes. They will be doing the same thing, going to Lander City Council and trying to get their support before we all go to the county commissioners.
So would that 2 mil you're wanting to raise, would that be divided among the county? Is that how it looks, or?
At this point, the law just allows up to 2 mills. And we have not gotten far enough along in the process to know how many mills we need. And I don't know, I would assume that Lander's going to have their own separate district for the Lander School District, and we would have our senior service district, which would be the Riverton. So, but we're trying to work in cooperation with one another, so.
Any other
That's one of the problems we have in this county. There are actually about 7 different senior citizens centers here, when you count those that are on the reservation, okay?
Right.
And
Councilor
we-
Hunter? Bailey?
I think you guys could get a hold of the county assessor, Tara Berg,
right,
and she could probably give you an idea of what the assessed valuation is. Now that they've sent out all the tax notices, she could probably give you an idea of what 1 mil would generate in that school district 25, where it's an already defined boundary. You could probably get a reasonable number of what that would generate. Because that's going to be one of the questions everybody has, I think, is what are you looking to generate to operate your center with? So, I mean, you may only need a half a mil or a mil, or, I mean, depending on what that generates. So she'd be a good place to start with getting you an evaluation.
but we would still like something saying you support the attempt that we're making.
Yes.
And I think, and Frank, I guess the point is if this is something that is going to go to voters, I think we want to have a good idea of what's going to be spent and how much you need. And then the other thing is right now you've talked about services you provide now. What are your plans, I guess, for expansion, or what do you think you're going to do differently if you've got a steady stream of money to be using?
Interestingly enough, one of the great things about the original Riverton Senior Center was that one of the services they offered was senior daycare, where if your mom lived with you and she was not capable of taking care of herself, you could bring her there and leave her while you went to work.
Respite, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that went by the wayside. The only one of those that exists in this state at this time that I know about is in Sheridan, Wyoming. And that's a very successful program. But we are always open to new things, okay? Because there's always going to be the need for new things. And the senior population is not getting smaller.
Mr. Taylor, quick question. What is your budget now?
We have, most of our funding comes from Title III grants and a WYDOT grant. And those grants, I think, are pushing up against $500,000. And because if it was over that, we'd have to have our audits sooner. I don't know, and I'd be willing to get the answer to you and find out exactly from our accountant.
And are those your only 2 funding sources now?
No, but WYDOT is a big one that's running the transportation system. And then we have 3B, which handles most of the socialization, games, the gymnasium, foot clinics, etc. And then we have a C1 program, which is if you come in to eat at the center. And we have C2, which is taking meals to the people who cannot no longer come into the center. So those are our 4 main ones, and I'm always scrambling to get other little grants to pay for a copier or pay for, different items. And one of our big challenges, actually we have 2 big challenges in addition to considering some of those improvements that you're talking about. One of them, my staff has not had a cost of living increase or any performance increases since December of 2020. And, inflation has really hurt them. Most of those grants only allow a certain percentage to go to personnel, and we've been scrambling to cover the food costs and the fuel costs and all the other things. The other thing that is vital And I can't give you the figures, and I've been trying for over a year now to get figures for replacing our boiler system. It's huge. We've spent probably 40, 50,000 so far generating funds and replacing parts, but the whole system is kind of reaching the end of its age. And I don't know exactly. I've been trying to get those figures, but with the supply chain issues, they can't find lots of parts, and nobody has turned in a quote or an estimate or a bid. I've just been replacing some of the actuators and so forth as they go bad. So those are two big concerns before we even consider a respite program or anything else. But I would like to mention also that those figures you received, that was from 2022, the figures that Frank had. We still haven't regained the level of service that we had prior to COVID. I think we're doing really well. YDOT called us and they wanted to know why we had a 33% increase in rides. And I said, well, look back at 2019 and compare that to last year. And so they did, and they called back and said, you're right, it's, you haven't even reached the level that you were at before COVID. So we're making good progress, but we still have not had everybody returning to services that they were enjoying before COVID. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Well, I certainly think that, I guess if it's something you're wanting to have the council behind, let's try to get some of the things we've been talking about sorted out and get a few more details figured out, and let's keep talking. But I really appreciate you coming and talking to us about it, and certainly appreciate all the work you do for the seniors in Riverton. It's really good to see the impact that you're making all the time. I know, Frank knows, I go and eat there sometimes, and
you're all welcome to do that.
You really should all come and at least go through the senior center and see what it is you're giving us the endowment money for.
Right.
Honestly, I can say honestly, for the first time since I remember, that when I walk out of the dining room into the lobby, I can feel hot air.
Because we're replacing all of those.
that's not when I'm there. Is that what are you hinting something, Frank? I was just there last week.
Right? I remember. No, that wasn't when you were there. It was coming from the fence up above.
So
There.
I will say that I always feel very welcome when I go there, and I appreciate what you do for the community, and I really think for anyone in the community, it's just a great chance to rub shoulders with a lot of people that have done many things for our community over the years, and I just want to say I appreciate what you guys run there. It's a great place, and I encourage people to come. I really do.
Well, we appreciate the help you've all given us, including Kyle coming to plow the yard.
Did you do that yourself?
No, Your Honor, I don't think it's fair I take credit for that, but the staff should.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Tanner and Ms. Weber. Anybody else that wanted to speak during the citizen comments? Great. All right, well, let's move on to the consent agenda. City Clerk, if you could please read the consent agenda items by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes, January 3rd, 2023, regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes, January 10th, 2023, work session meeting. Approval of the minutes, January 17th, 2023, Finance Committee meeting. Approval of the Finance Committee recommendations for January 17th, 2023. And approval of the Municipal Court report for the month of December 2022.
Are there any other items that require any more discussion?
Your Honor, the Finance Committee met earlier this evening at 6:45 and passed a motion to consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $342,697.79. Elon credit card in the amount of $1,924.99. Payroll and liabilities for 12/30 of '22 in the amount of $370,611.36. for a total of $715,234.14.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Councilman
Second.
Borders with the motion, Councilwoman Cox with the second.
And Your Honor, I'll abstain from voting on any line items pertaining to traveling computers or WyoNet.
Okay,
And I'll abstain on any Bailey Enterprises items.
okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. All right. Okay. City Council Committee appointments. I guess I can talk about this. As everyone here knows, that we've got, without the work of many good people in our committees through the city, we wouldn't have a lot of things happen. I mean, they'd still happen. They wouldn't be as good, let's put it that way. And so we actually received a request from a citizen for appointment to the Rendezvous Committee after we had already considered them, but we still have positions that are available, and we need to fill them as the year goes on. And so we received a letter from Ashley Strickland requesting to be appointed to the Rendezvous Balloon Committee. What's nice about this, as I understand it from Ms. Watson, is this will be fully staffed.
Correct.
How many boards are fully staffed right now? I guess Edge is, I know that much. We still have positions available on the tree board.
The tree board is full.
Is it full too?
Yep.
Okay.
Positions on planning commission and force.
Okay, Planning Commission and Force. But this will fill us with a full board then for the Rendezvous Balloon Committee. So that's great news. So with that, I would entertain a motion to approve the appointment of Ashley Strickland to the Rendezvous Balloon Committee.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion from Councilman Larson, second from Councilman Bailey. Any other discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. And I think Mr. Butterfield will send a packet out to her, same as we've done with the other ones, kind of let her know
Yes, sir.
what she needs to know for that. So that's great. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, consideration of resolutions to update signatory authority for investment funds. Finance Director's report.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before you tonight are 3 resolutions requesting approval to update the signers on the city's investment accounts. On April 16th, 2019, the City Council adopted by Resolution Number 1387 the Statement of Investment Policy, authorizing officers or agents of the city to engage in activities with designated investment programs. The recent changes in the city administrator position prompt the need to remove Anthony Tolstedt and add Kyle J. Butterfield as a designated signer on all city investment accounts. At this time, the city staff recommends approval of Resolution Number 1461, 1462, and 1463, designating specific individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city investment accounts held at Wyoming Class, Wyoming WyoStar Investment Pool, and the Wyoming Government Investment Fund, respectively.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, would the city clerk please read resolution number 1461 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1461, a resolution designating specific individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city investment accounts held at Wyoming Class.
Thank you. I'd entertain a motion to approve resolution number 1461, updating signatory authority for Wyoming Class.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Peranteaux and Councilwoman Cox with the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passes. Okay, City Clerk, if you could please read Resolution Number 1462 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1462, a resolution designating specific individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city investment accounts held at WyoStar Investment Pool.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1462, updating signatory authority for WyoStar Investment Pool.
So moved.
Second.
Councilman Bailey, Councilwoman Borders with the second. Any other discussion on that one? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passed. All right, these are short. I seem to remember a couple years ago, we had a resolution that I swear it took you 2 minutes to read, just the title. Yeah. All right, if you could please read Resolution Number 1463 by title only.
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1463, a resolution designating specific individuals as signatories and alternate signatories on city investment accounts held at the Wyoming Government Investment Fund.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1463, updating signatory authority for Wyoming Government Investment Fund.
So moved. Second.
Councilman Larson, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
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 I vote aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. Great. Glad to know we have our money in good hands. Thank you very much. All right, next, public hearing and consideration of ordinance number 23001, first reading, rezone Woodridge Estates. Community Development Director report.
Yes, Your Honor, Council. Before you is a rezone for Woodridge Estates Block 1, Track 1, the final replats of lots 3 and 4 and the vacation of platted easements with lots 10 through 15, Block 16, and all of Block 17. We refer to it as Woodridge Estates Block 1 as moving forward. The background information, Woodridge Estates Block 1, Track 1 is a corner lot at the intersections of Pure Gas and Webwood Road. The lot is located on the north side of a majority residential subdivision. The lots to the north of this lot across Webwood are designated as heavy industrial I2 and agricultural AG. The lot is currently zoned as Planned Neighborhood Shopping District CP, and the petitioners are requesting to rezone this lot to a commercial district designation of C1. Han Development is requesting this change to allow them to create commercial office spaces with garages. The current use regulations for CP zoning can be restricting. The petitioner plans to build commercial office spaces and garages for businesses or individuals to rent. C1 zoning offers the flexibility to do this type of business that can rent and utilize the commercial spaces available. The City Planning Commission recommended certification on January 5th, 2023 in a regular Planning Commission meeting. Alternatives would be to not approve the rezone or approve the rezone with amendments or stipulations. At this time, the recommendation is that City Council approve on first reading Ordinance 23-001, rezone of Woodridge Estates Block 1, Track 1.
Thank you very much, Mr. Miller. Would the city clerk please read ordinance number 23001 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed ordinance number 23-001, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the city of Riverton, Wyoming, designating the rezone of Woodridge Estates Block 1, Tract 1, final plat replat of lots 3 and 4, and the vacation of platted easements with lots 10 through 15, Block 16, and all of Block 17, City of Riverton, Fremont County, Wyoming, from Planned Neighborhood Shopping District, CP, to Commercial District, C1.
Thank you very much. The chair would entertain a motion to open a public hearing regarding this ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Peranteaux, second by Councilman Bailey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passed. I now declare the public hearing open. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, other applicable laws. I'd ask those individuals wishing to address the council approach the podium, identify yourself for the record. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to speak? It's a pretty full audience. I don't know why nobody wants to talk about this.
Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering, does that piece that is on page, I've got it wrong. I've got 17 of 14, so I've cut this out. My question is, does it extend all the way up to 16th East?
Councilman Larson, I guess if we're not going to have any public comment, could we close the public hearing?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm sorry.
It just makes more sense if we can.
So, Your Honor, I would move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed, say, I vote aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Okay. Chair would entertain a motion to adopt ordinance number 23001 on first reading.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilman Bailey, second by Councilman Peranteaux. Discussion. All right. Councilman Larson, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. I was just wondering if it extends from 16th down to pure gas.
The lot currently does go from where the new new
Okay.
16th Street is all the way to Pure Gas following Webwood as road frontage.
I understand the history on construction is not favorable. In fact, they suck. And I guess that's mad for me to say that, but they've demonstrated over a period of time that they've had a high crime rate in that area, meaning there's been a lot of police called there. And as developers, they haven't done their job. But my question really is, will the ground support what they want on that particular change of venue?
The ability for the ground to support that doesn't change between the two zonings. I don't have a proposal from them as to what their plans for the ground to be able to support it in stormwater and drain off for that area, so I don't have the ability to answer that.
So my question is too advanced.
It's too advanced at this point because at this point there is no construction proposal. It's just the proposal to change to C1 zoning. Their preemptive business plan doesn't work in the CP zoning as it's currently stated under regulation.
Okay, thank you.
In terms of commercial office buildings, is that right?
Correct. There's a couple of different stipulations that cause some issue with that. And when we first look at that, we look at the intent of CP district. There's actually 2 current lots in the city of Riverton that are zoned CP. It's very interesting. It's one that's not very used in our size of community, but it is the intent of a planned neighborhood community CP to permit retailing of neighborhood convenience commodities and personal services which are needed for day-to-day living. Density and intensity of use may be considered low to moderate. Uses in this district are intended to be compatible with adjoining residential district. And it's really a small commodity resource convenience store, dental office, law practice type of small environment to directly feeding the residential community around there. A couple of the stipulations for CP that are different than C1, which do cause the issue for planned general commercial use, are the use regulations that are stated under CP is for retail sales conducted within a permanent building, personal services conducted, bank saving and lending, human health care facilities, and public parking lots. Those are the regulation uses allowed under regulation. There's 2 other issues under intensity of use under regulation and business hours that also affect that. The intensity of use, a normal commercial property can be used in its confines up to its borders for commercial space. In a CP zoned commercial lot, they can only use 40% of the total area of that lot for building space itself, similar to residential. So you're not having a large expansive commercial property in a predominantly residential area as it sees fit for a normal CP area. And then also regulated business hours for a CP area are 11 p. or regular business hours are not intended or to be closed between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. in that CP zoning. And so those are some of the regulations that exist in current code under CP zoning that cause the restriction to be not conducive for use for their model moving forward.
So the discussion right now is a commercial office building. What else could a C1 zone open us up to, though, in that area?
A C1 zone, C1 is the most vast commercial use. It would open up to retail space of any kind. It would open up to a convenience store, the ability for a service station, any type of general business that we perform along Main or Federal would also be usable in the space.
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
And I had the same question, so I made a list. Mobile home parks are allowed, builder supply, tire shops, pet shops, laboratories, storage units, light manufacturing. So in addition to what Mr. Miller mentioned, those are allowable uses under that current zone. Under the C1 zone, excuse me.
I think we've got just to the north of that, we've even got an industrial zoning right near there too, don't we?
Yep.
Correct, we
Across
do.
the section.
The property across the street from there is the AmeriGas holding, the new AmeriGas holding facility, and that's the I-2 regulated zone there. And then there's agricultural, and then just to the west of the I-2 zone is the Eastern Shoshone Business Park on the backside of Walmart, and that future expansion in that area.
Which is just, again, right down the road. I mean, this is not,
It's you know, if one were to categorize what kitty corner means, Eastern Shoshone Business Park would be kitty corner from this lot.
there's a technical definition of that, is that?
It's diagonal to the northwest, yes.
Okay,
Kitty
good.
corner, I believe is also acceptable.
I just thought it was something we said, but I guess there's probably some words that I use that have technical definitions and that other people don't think of them technically, I guess, so. All right, any other discussion, any other questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I vote aye, all opposed say nay.
Nay.
Okay, motion passes. All right, consideration of Resolution 1464, American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA funding, HVAC units. Community Development Director, report, please.
Yes, Your Honor, Council. Before you is Resolution Number 1464. It's a SLIB application for ARPA local government project grant. ARPA became law in March of 2021 and provided $1.9 trillion in COVID relief funding throughout the nation. Among its many programs, ARPA includes provisions to assist state and local governments. The state of Wyoming received a total of $1.68 billion in funding from these provisions. The Governor's Office, the Joint Appropriations Committee, and the Legislature have since worked to prioritize the use of these funds. Senate enrolled Act 20 of the recent legislation session appropriated $333,539,726 of ARPA monies towards established priorities. One funded priority was $50 million towards local government projects. SLIB has opened a competitive grant process to communities to apply for these funds. The HVAC systems for City Hall and the airport terminal are 25 years old or more. At City Hall, the main HVAC unit, which is referred to as RTU-1, has already started causing major issues and has a current budgeted project to complete its replacement. Other HVAC units at the airport terminal and City Hall exhibit similar risks of failing or regular costly maintenance due to their age and condition. RTU-1 this year has cost us about $25,000 in maintenance repairs just in that single unit at Main City Hall here, just an FYI. ARPA guidelines specifically allow heating and ventilation upgrades as appropriate uses of COVID relief funds. This is a rare opportunity to optimize dollars to upgrade equipment like this. It's not very often that maintenance of general facilities is included in a grant process. It's generally strict capital coming out of our budget to do that. So for us to have an opportunity to take funds that we have and multiply that with a grant is an exceptional opportunity, I feel. The fiscal year 23 budget already reflects an allocation to the City Hall RTU1 project as a capital project. The City Council awarded this project on October 18th, 2022 in the amount of $277,200. Should grant funds be awarded from SLIB, the city would include the additional 8 HVAC units at City Hall and the airport terminal to the scope of the planned improvements. The city would also need to provide an additional $164,800 of general fund monies to match the overall project cost, which would be funded at a ratio of 74% to 26% to cover the city's obligation to match the potential grant. Fitting into that 26% bracket gives us extra points on our grant application and fits us into a higher category, which we're trying to score into as a very elite group of folks trying to get into this grant. The table below reflects the staff's estimate of project cost and offsetting grant monies. So the overall SLIB grant would be for $1,258,000. The existing RTU1 project is for $277,200. The city match funds would be on top of that would be $164,800. And the total project cost would be an estimated $1.7 million. And looking in those match funds, through discussions with Mr. Butterfield and Mia Harris with the Finance Committee, are available to us. And I believe if questions would be asked, Mia might be able to explain exactly where those would be coming from and how we would be doing that.
Ms. Harris, you want to chime in on that? Might as well. It's as good a time as any.
Sure. We actually have a couple of different options, but the most recommended option would be that we experienced a surplus of funding in our general fund due to some ARPA dollars received in previous years, the most previous 2 recent budget years. And through recent discussions with you as council, it was determined that we could potentially use 1/3 of those ARPA dollars out of the general fund, and we could use that to match this.
Sounds good. We just barely talked about that and already finding a home.
Absolutely. It's a very small window. This opportunity arose last week, and the final grant application is due Monday.
Sounds good. All right. Well, would the city clerk please read resolution number 1464 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1464, a resolution authorizing submission of a local government project ARPA grants application to the State Loan and Investment Board on behalf of the governing body for the city of Riverton, Wyoming, for the purpose of replacing aged and inefficient heating, ventilation, and cooling systems at Riverton City Hall and the passenger terminal building at Central Wyoming Regional Airport with new, more efficient systems that include high-efficiency particulate air, or HEPA, filters.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1464, supporting an application to the State Loan and Investment Board for an American Rescue Plan Act local government project grant monies to improve heating, ventilation, and cooling systems at City Hall and the airport terminal.
So moved.
Second.
Everybody's
I
excited.
think Councilwoman Cox had the motion, and I think Councilman Peranteaux, you want to take the second? We'll give that to you.
We're all pretty excited about heat and air.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
I was just going to say, it seems like a great opportunity to take advantage of, and if we don't, we'll just miss out.
Absolutely. It's so just looking at the budget, trying to figure out how to come up with the $277,000 to replace the one unit is quite complex. And it was really hard to work into the budget to do that. With the cash surplus that we have access to do that, we're the goal of taking taking those surplus dollars and multiplying them with grant monies is very rare on the maintenance side of the world.
Mike, is the grant an all or nothing? So you either qualify for the full amount and there aren't any options for qualifying for lower
No
amounts?
options, and every city got the same grant opportunity, and we're all, so my 1.25 is hitting a total of 50 million, so it's a strong ask, but I think the opportunity is worth the ask.
I have to laugh because these tend to have categories, and it tends to be whatever percentage to whatever percentage. And I imagine 26, you're just getting beyond the 25% category. Am I right there?
Yeah, absolutely. The original, so it's 5 to 6 or 5 to 15%, 16 to 25%, and 26% plus is the three separate categories.
Gotcha.
And that it's a very valuable point that we
Right.
get for that deal as well.
Makes all the difference, yes, definitely. Well, and it seems like it fits what they'd be looking for. I mean, when you look at the documentation and everything for these grants, they're looking at trying to do things that will assist with COVID concerns and infectious disease. And so it seems like of all the things that you could make a proposal that would make sense, HEPA filters and being able to upgrade and make sure you have a functioning HVAC system both at the airport and here seems like to me, seems like it's something that would definitely be competitive with other communities looking for grants. So I appreciate you guys looking into this and getting everything ready for it. So definitely shows that we're trying to do our best to be smart with our money. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. All right. Consideration of resolution number 1465, American Rescue Plan Act funding stormwater. Public Works Director's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor and Council. This is a very similar grant to Mr. Miller's. This grant involved, I won't go through all the breakdown of the money that's been allocated for this project, but the project we're looking at is replacing the stormwater drainage on Webwood Road that is the outflow from the 16th and Webwood detention pond. This line has deteriorated very badly. It's several breaks in many locations, and it's infiltrated with root infiltration throughout the line. There's portions of the line that have collapsed. We've pulled chunks of clay pipe out while jutting the system. It just needs to be replaced. It's going to create a flood if we don't do something with it, and it's getting very difficult to maintain. This project is very similar. It's difficult to find a correlation between COVID-19 and storm sewers in the guidance they provided. However, they don't really provide or require that guidance under water and sewer projects. They just want to know how it's being handled. Stormwater is one of the covered areas in that grant pool. We were requesting a grant of $666,000 and able to match it through general funds for $234,000. The funding coming from exactly the same location as Mr. Miller's funding. As Mr. Miller said, these grants are very competitive, and this is one of two grants going in on behalf of the city of Riverton. We had to prioritize our grants. This grant application is going in as a priority 2. The HVAC is going in under a priority 1. The criteria, the scoring criteria is exactly the same with our match. Gets us up to a 26, which is a very handsome place to be in this draw, but it's going to be very competitive and a lot of people asking for money, so we left this as a priority 2. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Total project's $900,000.
Sure, go ahead.
Will that cut across the new road now?
No, nope. The drainage from the detention pond crosses northbound to the north side of Webwood Road. We would pick it up on that side of the road and continue east with the new lines. Our intention is not to disrupt any of the roadway.
So it'll be a totally new line.
Correct. It'll just replace what's in there now.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Would the city clerk please read resolution number 1465 by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1465, a resolution authorizing submission of a local government project ARPA grants application to the State Loan and Investments Board on behalf of the City of Riverton, Wyoming, for the purpose of Webwood Road Stormwater Infrastructure Replacement Project.
All right, Chair would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1465, supporting an application to the State Loan and Investment Board for an American Rescue Plan Act local government support grant for stormwater infrastructure improvements.
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Borders with the motion, Councilman Bailey with the second. Any other discussion, questions, amendments? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. All opposed say nay. Motion passes. Well, I got through that pretty quick. Not bad at all. Thank you. All right. Well, council committee reports and council member roundtable. Why don't we start with Councilwoman Borders? You're going to say that a couple of times. Make sure I say it right.
Say it 3 times really fast. Well, Your Honor, I just met earlier tonight with the PAWS board, and they're busy trying to plan for their PAWS and Pearls, I think the second Saturday of September. Let's see. They're in need of a lot of things like construction on their kennels, and they're looking for donations for kennels for their feral cats. So if anyone out there would like to help, just get a hold of PAWS. There'll be more plans in the future for replacing those. That's really about all we talked about tonight. I did want to go over some of the activities going on here in town.
Great.
Let's see, the empty bowl for Abba's house. It doesn't show a date, but there is a phone number to call, and that's 856-0999. So they have people donate soup, and they fill the bowl and raise money for their cause. So it's pretty cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Sound of Music auditions. It's a little late for this because it was tonight from 6 to 9. So let's see. They also are having some activities at the library. Food murder mysteries. So if you're interested in finding out more, you can call the library or go to their website. I'm sure you can find some more information. Riverton Rec is doing volleyball. Let's see, January 30th through March 20th on Mondays. That's for the recreational league, and then competitive's February 1st through March 22nd. Cost is $80 a team. Let's see if I can find some contact information. I guess you could probably just call our rec and get more information on that. Let's see. There's a Wine and Wealth workshop with Wind River Realty. It's Friday, January 20th, this coming Friday, and it's going to be at Brown Sugar Roastery. So you can call Wind River Realty to get more information. They're going to have some financial advisors and some attorneys to kind of help you navigate through your wealth, or how to build some wealth if you don't currently have any. Let's see. There's a dance camp at CWC this coming Saturday from 10 to 12. And then they're going to be performing that afternoon, so that looks like it might be some fun. You can get a hold of Candace at 258-8523. And I think I'll just stop right there and let someone else have a turn.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Borders. All right, Councilwoman Cox.
Okay, so last night was the rec board meeting. That's the most exciting meeting of the night, and I'm glad I got to go before Dean so I could talk about it. We accepted 23 applications last night, and I just really enjoy hearing all of the new projects that are coming, from playground upgrades, revamping hopefully the softball fields, and the concession stand at the high school. So just some fun ideas out there. Exciting when people come in and are excited to present their ideas. So the senior center meeting is next month. The EDGE meeting is this Thursday. Thanks for letting me know that. One thing I wanted to report on is during our meeting last night, the Boys and Girls Club presented, and their average daily is 50 kids. So I thought that was a great number. It's exciting. They're having a lot of success, and they talked about maybe even expanding into the middle school next year. So that would be an awesome opportunity for families with kids that are older to be able to use that. The children's play this weekend, I heard was a great success. My niece was in it, but I didn't get to make it because my son's basketball game went to double overtime. So, but I think that's a fun opportunity for the kids in our city to get to partake in that and try something new. So other than that, I don't have anything else.
Sounds great. Thank you. Councilman Bailey.
Okay, thank you. Again, I haven't been to any meetings since we met, but I did want to compliment the City of Riverton staff on being out there cleaning the streets, and they were doing a good job. Again, this was a very challenging snowstorm we had over the last week or so, where it just kept snowing for about 3 days, and that makes it really tricky to get the roads cleaned. And I think I was up very early, a lot of them days plowing myself, and they were out there scraping the streets and doing all that. And then this morning, I had to be out early to meet with some of my graveyard folks. And so they were already out cleaning up out of the center of Federal, and I think they got all of Federal done today, and they're gonna start on Main tomorrow. So that really improves the visibility and the drivability of Federal immensely when they do that. And it's quite a process, to watch. They've got the big snow blower, they've got a road grader there, they've got dump trucks coming and going, getting filled, and that thing can throw a lot of snow a lot quick. They can fill a dump truck in about 30 seconds with that snow blower. It really gets after it, so. And then they've got, traffic control, they've got a truck behind trying to keep people out of the traffic lane. So it's a pretty big production to get that done, so it was pretty impressive.
I actually spoke to a citizen that timed it, and he said 30 seconds. So good estimate.
Yeah. So. We just needed more dump trucks, because he can fill a lot more dump trucks than we have dump trucks, I think.
That's what they were saying too, so,
Yeah.
yeah. That's why they timed it.
Yep.
In case you can't tell, people have been talking about snow a lot, or the removal of snow. All right, Councilman Peranteaux.
Your Honor, thank you. Yeah, the snow removal thing, I think, you can't blast through those medians after they've been sitting there for a day or two. That picture of that car sitting on top of the pile was kind of entertaining. I feel badly for whoever that was and hope they're okay, but it didn't look like there's too much damage to the car. But it is hazardous on Federal there. Somebody's making a turn. I think somebody ran into a patrol vehicle too. Didn't that happen? So yeah, it's really dangerous. I had people cutting in front of me, and that's just one of those things. Airport board meeting will be this coming Friday, the 19th at 8 o'clock. And just to hit on what Councilwoman Cox mentioned at the School District 25 Rec Board meeting last night, it was kind of our grant proposal night, so everybody brings their proposals. Last year, we had 29 proposals, and the ask was $258,798 and some pennies. This year, as Lindsay mentioned, we had 23 applications, but the total was $329,299. So a significantly larger ask, even though there are fewer applicants. And last year, we actually handed out or gave out almost $200,000. So we'll probably end up with about the same today. So the task is going to be pretty challenging to find those those groups that you can actually help fund. One of them that's interesting is the adult softball league and the girls fast pitch down at the fields down here. And they have some ideas. Hopefully they can kind of coalesce and get a couple of groups together to maybe make those fields a little bit better, fix some of the irrigation that's down there, and actually make those fields more usable. Because apparently now there are two that are usable, one that's really not at all, and one that might be more easy to rehab, which is the one that hasn't been used hardly at all. So it's going to be interesting. Hopefully they can come together and the rec board can kind of put some big funding behind a single project in addition to some of the other projects. So, and that's all I have, Your Honor.
Sounds good. All right, Councilman Larson.
Your Honor, solid waste met on Monday, and they had reserves of $21 million. They proposed to build 3 transfers, one in Du Bois, one at Sandral, and a new one at Lander, $6 million. The construction of those metal buildings is $1 million. So we spent that much money from 21 million on Monday. And nobody wanted to bid those out. And I said, if you don't bid them out, you'll never know. And anyway, the fees, the tipping fees proposed are $70 for Riverton. And I pointed out that that should be looked at because the mileage from Riverton to Lander one way is $25, but you can't get that truck back empty. You got to drive it back, and the only difference is weight. And those individuals at the scale, plus the operators on the loader and the truck driver. So I'm wondering if that really pencils out to $70 a ton. They said they had figures on it and would get back with me. Andy was on the phone, and he is going to be an employee of solid waste till the end of January. Then he's a consultant. And we authorized $77,000 for a consultant for his time that we need, because we haven't hired a new engineer for that facility yet, which is in process. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Butterfield.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few items, and to reiterate, we do have Airport Board at 8 this Friday, and our first Edge Committee for the newly seated appointed members will be this Thursday at 6 o'clock. We also want to say thanks to Tish Tuttle. I think it's appropriate to embarrass her at this time because her last day will be this Thursday, and we want to say thank you for her service to the city and for all she's done. And if you don't have a chance before Thursday, please give her a high five and a pat on the back. But thank you, Tish, for your service to the city. We have received all of the financial disclosure statements from the city council at this point and are compliant with state statute. I do want to say thank you also to our city staff for coordinating trainings yesterday on the Martin Luther King holiday. Councilman Dean Peranteaux did a wonderful job presenting on cybersecurity threats. We were pleased to have Mr. Ivan Posey from the college come and talk to us about the Eastern Shoshone and Northern Arapaho tribe. And then 2 of our officers, Officer Larson and Christofferson, also went through some threat response scenarios and how to appropriately be trained as city employees. As a reminder, WHAM Winter Conference will be next week, and I know 2 of you are ready to go, and so we look forward to that, and we'll make sure to communicate back to the rest of you all the great, wonderful things we've learned. And I think I've covered everything I have, Your Honor, at that time.
Sounds good.
Can I say one?
Sure, go ahead.
Just reminded me, I did want to thank the police department with the stay put last week at the schools. I work at the school district, and it's unfortunate that we have to be in situations like that, but I felt like you guys did a great job in putting us in the stay put just to keep us safe when it was unknown. So just wanted to say thank you for what you do for us every day.
Thank you. I echo that. I really appreciate I get to see the work from the police department closer than most, I guess. I have to sit there in court and actually present it and say, this is enough for you as a jury to find this person guilty of an offense. And I will say that I often am impressed with the work that they do, and I think that they're to be commended for a lot of hard work on a lot of things. And I thought the way to handle that situation was appropriately handled. It wasn't blowing things out of proportion. It wasn't taking something that could be seriously, not seriously. And I just really appreciated the response. And I think I thought did very well at trying to notify people what was going on too, through the ways that we could. So that was good. Well, I'll be honest. I need to start doing a little bit better at taking note of what I need to report during this time, and I don't want to go off on too many different things. I will talk about a couple of things we've been talking about a lot with citizens and different organizations that I've met with. Plowing, of course, is one of them. I'm not going to pretend to have a perfect handle on best practices for plowing of snow. I will say that I've had a lot of people that have spoken to me about different ways that we can improve it. A lot of people that have spoken to me about different things that we can do differently. And I want to make sure people know that we're listening. We're kind of right now in an interesting situation where we, as I understand it, have received more snow in a January than we have since we've kept records of snowfall in January. So I understand that folks are not liking the snow. I don't really like the snow in the road. I am fine with it in my yard. My kids build forts. They have fun. But the forts are getting bigger, and they're not building on them. It's just falling on it and staying. So I guess the biggest thing that I can say to people that are concerned about the snow, the plowing of it, the removal of it, feel free to reach out. It might not be that we're going to sit there and change horses midstream and do things a different way, but I'm definitely willing to listen. And we can look at that and talk about different options. And I just really appreciate that everybody is being patient, and I really appreciate our crews who are out working hard and working long hours. And it's not fun to be doing those kind of hours and then trying to be delicate with this and then getting cussed out by people. So I would just encourage you, please be patient with our crews. If you're going to find fault with something, come talk to us, come talk to me, talk to Mr. Butterfield. That's fine, but please be patient with our crews. They're hard at work. They're doing the best they can, and I just appreciate that if we can have a little bit of grace for people that are doing their best. Other than that, I've been talking about homelessness some. Even before I was elected, we had the recent death of an individual, partially at least, as I understand it, I think possibly due to exposure. And so that's been a topic on people's mind. We don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of that, and many people I've talked to don't. So people have been talking about it, and we're trying to come up with ideas and solutions to that. I have been to now 2 meetings talking about homelessness. I am planning on going to another meeting next week about homelessness. That's great. The one thing I can encourage people to do is please, let's all get together so I don't have to go to 3 meetings. If we can make it 1 meeting and I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I am serious. There's a lot of people going a lot of different directions with this, and it's a serious topic. It's one that we want to come up with different ways to address. If you have thoughts and you're a part of a group, reach out to me, and let's try to figure out ways we can combine our efforts. I think we're doing a lot of different good things in the community, but right now what we probably need to do is have a little bit more talking with all the people that are doing different things so that we understand what's being done and we're maybe not doubling up on things that are being done by other groups. And I'm not saying this is a criticism of people at all that are doing this. Please continue. One of the great things about our country and about our city is when we see a problem, for the most part, we roll up our sleeves and we try to solve it. We don't just say somebody else will figure it out. And that's great. So we've got people that are just kind of coming up with groups and they're starting the process. So please continue to do that. But as much as possible, I think we're at a point now where people can start kind of combining efforts and do what we can to get a strategy that's going to be using a lot of other resources rather than just having to be limited to one. So if you want to talk about this, give me a call. I can point you in the direction of some other groups that are talking about it, and let's do what we can to start trying to combine our efforts. Other than that, I left my phone in my office because it needed to be charged, and it had all the meetings I'd been attending in the last 2 weeks. So rather than shooting from the hip, because there was one more I wanted to talk about, but I'm not going to try to guess at it, that's it from me. So next on the agenda, we have an executive session. Chair would entertain a motion to convene into executive session for the purpose of litigation, considering litigation to which our governing body is or may be a party in accordance with Wyoming Statute 164405A Romanet 3, and personnel in accordance with Wyoming Statute 164405A2 and or Wyoming Statute 164405A Romanet 10.
So moved.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilwoman Borders, second by Councilman Peranteaux. Any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right, we're stand convened into executive session at 8:22 p.m.
Your Honor, is it okay if Kristen and I attend that?
Yes, please.
They'll stay.
Welcome to
Yeah, Mike, you oughta see this lady.
Yeah, I'm going forward.
I just can't wait now. Reprimed us.
Lights are out.
Very disappointed they didn't wait for us.
All right, we're back here. I would entertain a motion to reconvene into regular session.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. I vote aye. Motion passes. Any other business? No? Okay. Well, if nobody's has any objections, then we will stand adjourned at 9:58 PM, unless we want to talk for 2 minutes just to make it 10.
Can I talk for 2 minutes?
Okay,
If we're adjourned, can we be adjourned?
sure. Let's adjourn at 9:58.
March 21st, we have a business meeting, but I have opportunity to go to DC to do some lobbying with the Wyoming Airports Coalition. Before I commit to going with them, I need to be excused from the council meeting. Obviously, my first priority is to support you, but
What day was that?
March 21st, so
Oh.
a couple months away. My other obligation is I need to get permission from my other boss because that's her birthday.
Oh, I'm going to say
Way
no
easier
then.
getting it from the 7.
Oh.
For you because the harder one's next. I thought I'd just bring it up.
Bring her with you to DC.
You're making the assumption she's not going?
Well, that might be the selling point. Leave the kids, let's go.
This is actually a birthday party that was planned for you, Courtney. Yeah.
So I just bring it up. Obviously, if we have something critical on the agenda, I need to be here. But if it's something where staff can handle it, then
Well, I think your background knowledge with the airport and all that is really vital too, so that's really important.
But any-
I don't have a problem with it. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody up
no,
here is
not
having
at
a
all.
problem with it. Well,
thank you.
I'll make the motion.
Thanks for the extra minute.
the meeting is over.
No, I mean, when the time comes. I'll make the motion to excuse Kyle.
Do I sign this where I didn't start the meeting, or do we have Mike sign it too, or what do we do with the work session?
Yeah, you sign it.
Okay.
Yep. The work session. Oh, yeah.
It's all your fault, whatever happened, so.
Here on out. Thanks, everybody, for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank